This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dana Kozlov.
And I'm Adrena Sinclair. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. We are continuing to follow that death investigation on Chicago's near north side. The police department now mourning the loss of one of their own.
And the latest on tariff talks as President Donald Trump hits the pause button for every country except China.
And in your first alert forecast, we're in, as you can see, for another gloomy and also chilly day ahead, but there's a warm-up on the way. So good news here from meteorologist David Yeomans tracking some of the changes coming for us. David?
That's right. Good morning to you both. Jacket weather continues on this April day today, but I think you can leave the rain gear behind. We have a storm system moving southwest of our area today. Looks like a lot of rain and snow coming in from Wisconsin, but a lot of this just will fail to make it here. We do have some gloom out there this morning, low clouds, fog and mist. Visibility has improved dramatically along the lakeshore and in Chicago. Still low visibility south of I-80, but fog is continuing to become less of an issue through the rest of the morning. Doesn't mean the clouds are breaking, though. Probably don't need the sunglasses at all today under cloudy skies with brisk temperatures in the mid-40s, especially near the lake. It will be a cool day. Wheaton, DuPage will be in the upper 40s today, but Highland Park, a high of only 41 this afternoon in the Loop, while we'll be in the upper 40s in Orland Park, and a cold lake breeze in Burns Harbor and Indiana Dunes as well. Coming up, a major weekend warm-up next in your forecast. Dana, Audrina?
All right, David, thank you so much. And now we turn to that breaking news we've been following throughout the morning. A Chicago police officer has died at the 18th District Station, which is on the city's near north side.
A police department source tells us it appears that female officer died by suicide. Our Darius Johnson joins us live from outside the 18th District where that death investigation is underway. Darius, a very difficult morning for the department, I'm sure.
Hey there, ladies. Good morning to you. A very quiet morning, a solemn morning for members of the 18th Police District. One thing that I can tell you is they are now closed for the day, and they are closed as a result of that officer who died by suicide last night. As that death investigation continues, they are basically allowing their colleagues, their partners from other districts to respond to all emergency calls while they deal with this tragic loss. Take a look at what things looked like earlier this morning. Quiet and solemn right now, but that was not the case when we first arrived. Just before 3 o'clock this morning, this was the scene at the 18th District at Division and Larrabee. Officers were seen saluting outside this ambulance as a gurney is wheeled inside with a white sheet covering it. At first, it was unclear what was happening, but based on the officer's salute, we knew it was possibly an officer that was involved in something. However, it was unclear of what the circumstances surrounding it were. Around 5:30 this morning, a police officer, or rather the police department, told us an off-duty female officer died, and a source later told us she died by suicide as the department continues to conduct a death investigation. Chicago police released a statement saying, in part, our officers are human, and we cannot forget that they face the same challenges as everyone else while balancing the difficulties that come with being a police officer. In addition to that statement, the department is also asking for prayers for her colleagues and her family. This morning outside Northwestern Memorial Hospital, there was a large police presence. Her body was taken from the police station, the 18th District, to the hospital there in Streeterville. There, officers lined for the procession to the Cook County Medical Examiner's office where her body was taken. Back out here live this morning at the 18th District, as I mentioned, they are closed for the day, and they are allowing other colleagues of other districts to respond to any emergencies that they normally would. In the meantime, right now, we're still waiting to learn the identity of that officer who sadly died. We're still waiting to learn more about her, how many years she was with the department, how many years she worked at this district, and who she was as an officer and as a woman. We hope to learn some of that later on this morning. We know at 10 o'clock, the Chicago Police Memorial Foundation will be having an event where they will honor Officers of the Month. There, they will give a brief statement about this passing. We're live here on the near north side. I'm Darius Johnson, CBS News Chicago.
Okay, Darius, thank you so much. In the last hour, we're now hearing from Mayor Brandon Johnson on this loss. In a statement, he said, in part, our hearts are shattered and broken over this tragedy. My deepest condolences and ardent prayers are with the officers' family, loved ones, and fellow officers as we grieve. This tragedy is a reminder that we must carry each other.
And we do want to mention this. If you or someone you know is struggling, there is a National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's available 24/7. Here's the information on your screen. You can call or text the number 988, and they also have resources available at 988lifeline.org.
A man shot earlier this week by Chicago police inside a River North hotel is expected to be in court today. DeMond Williams is facing 2 felony charges. Police say officers spotted Williams walking around with a knife at the Courtyard Marriott on Monday. Officers tried to stop him, but Williams took off and ran into the hotel lobby. Police say when Williams turned towards the officers with that knife, they opened fire. Williams was shot and taken to the hospital in critical condition. His detention hearing again is later today.
2 Northwestern University professors have now filed a complaint in federal court to try and keep legal clinic data from Congress. The deadline to submit that data is actually 11 this morning, so in just a few hours. The Education and Workforce Committee is investigating the free legal advice that Northwestern Legal Clinic gave organizers at this anti-Israel protest, which was at O'Hare Airport last year. 40 protesters were arrested there. Well, the committee claims the university used federal funds to support what it calls illegal anti-Semitic conduct. The protest was against the war in Gaza. The professors say if the school sends this information, it would cause irreparable harm to their legal clinics. And this comes as the Trump administration froze about $790 million in federal funding slated to go to Northwestern. Those cuts stem from pro-Palestinian protests on campus last year. Northwestern says the funding supports research like the development of the world's smallest pacemaker and research to help fight Alzheimer's disease. Well, today, President Donald Trump expected to meet with his cabinet at the White House.
It comes a day after he paused his reciprocal tariffs against most countries except China. Some U.S. business owners say the move just adds to the uncertainty. While the move did spark a surge in world stock markets, the U.S. stock market is down this morning. We're taking a live look at the board right now after opening about an hour or a half hour or so ago. CBS News' Jared Hill has more on the change from the president from New York.
Wednesday's Wall Street rally rippled across the world. This morning, global markets opened much higher after President Trump paused his punishing tariffs for at least 90 days. The decision less than 24 hours after they kicked in.
The bond market right now is beautiful. But yeah, I saw last night where people were getting a little queasy.
Acknowledging investor unease was linked to his decision. The baseline tariff now 10%. The White House says up to 70 countries are pushing for talks, but China is retaliating, upping their tariff on U.S. goods to 84%. President Trump hit back with a 125% tax on Chinese imports.
China continues to retaliate. Other countries didn't retaliate.
Minnesota soybean farmer Bob Worth hopes the trade war ends quickly. He sells most of his crop to China.
Our president will get something done that we'll be very happy with at the end. But it sure is stressful.
While farmers wait to sell, tariffs have prompted some iPhone shoppers to stock up.
I figured I'd get in before the prices went up.
Ahead of yesterday's pause, the European Union announced its own 25% tariff on some U.S. goods starting next week. This morning, they announced a 90-day pause as well. Jared Hill, CBS News.
And today, the U.S. House could vote on a Republican-backed budget plan.
And it comes as lawmakers within the party remain divided on the details of it. Plus, the death toll rising after that roof collapse in the Dominican Republic. Family members say they're still holding on hope as the search turns into a recovery.
And Michelle Obama setting the record straight, how she's clearing up divorce rumors and addressing questions about her choice to skip some political events.
And on a gloomy start to our Thursday, why not look toward a much better weekend? Sunshine Saturday and Sunday with warmer than normal temperatures of 60 to 70 degrees. Coming up in your forecast, where a few sprinkles are falling this morning.
As we keep an eye on your world, we now know at least 218 people have died after a roof collapsed at a nightclub in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, such a tragic situation, and that number continues to go up as rescue crews dig through the rubble there at the site. Officials say they still don't know what caused this roof to collapse on Tuesday. The government announced yesterday the focus is now shifting to recovery. Now, no one has been found alive since Tuesday afternoon. Some families searching for survivors say they have not given up hope, including a 17-year-old looking for her dad.
He was really
happened to me, and I'm not prepared for anything that isn't hugging him right now. So I've been praying day and night.
So sad. The government says once this recovery phase ends, it will launch a thorough investigation. And a Russian-American woman who was wrongfully detained in Russia is now free and on her way to the U.S. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio posted to social media that President Donald Trump secured Ksenia Karlina's release. A Russian court convicted her of treason after she made a donation of just over $50 to a U.S.-based charity supporting Ukraine. According to U.S. officials, the U.S. released Russian-German Arthur Petrov from a U.S. prison. And Israeli forces have ordered 6 United Nations schools to close in East Jerusalem. This is according to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Rights. Now, the demand comes after the forces raided the schools today. Israel's Ministry of Education says the parents are being told to register students at other schools. The schools will officially close on May 8th.
House Speaker Mike Johnson is facing backlash from his own party as he tries to push through a Senate budget plan. The vote could happen today after it was supposed to happen last night. Now, that changed when multiple Republicans had said they'd vote against it. They say there are not enough cuts, spending cuts in the bill. The Senate version has $4 billion in cuts, while the House version had nearly $1.5 trillion in cuts. Johnson says they have to act or the country will go bankrupt.
We have a stewardship obligation to take care of that responsibility because we're on a trajectory that will quite literally bankrupt the country. So in the reconciliation process, we want to ensure and have commitments amongst ourselves that we're going to find a requisite number of savings while also protecting essential programs. We're not going to cut Medicare, Social Security, or Medicaid. Don't believe the lies about that.
The plan asks the House Energy and Commerce Committee to come up with $880 billion in cuts. Analysts say it's hard to do that without affecting Medicaid. Well, Michelle Obama is dismissing divorce rumors and addressing her recent absence from political events.
Yeah, on a podcast, the former First Lady said she simply chose not to attend President Trump's second inauguration and chose not to attend the state funeral of former President Jimmy Carter. Here's part of what she said about being able to control her own calendar now.
The interesting thing is that when I say no, for the most part, people are like, I get it, and I'm okay, right? And that's the thing that we, as women, I think we struggle with, like disappointing people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so much so that this year people were, you know, they couldn't even fathom that I was making a choice for myself, that they had to assume that my husband and I are divorcing.
This was on actress Sophia Bush's podcast, by the way. It's called Work in Progress. As for what she's doing now, Michelle Obama says she continues to give speeches, work on projects, and advocate for girls' education. She's setting the record straight.
Yep, that's for sure.
Yeah, 9:15, turning to our first alert weather here. Kind of stuck in this dreariness
I
this
know,
morning.
and I hate to bring you more bad news, but tomorrow's Friday, and the sun comes out.
Nice.
And then this weekend, we're talking about near 70 degrees in some areas.
So much better.
You can always get a little bit of everything here in the springtime, right? This morning, though, we are fighting our way through some low clouds, a little mist and fog. That's one little barrier as you hit the road during rush hour. Tomorrow, though, we're looking toward milder 50s by the afternoon with bright skies and sunshine. And this is what I'm talking about. This weekend, 60 Saturday, close to 70 on Sunday. We probably will make it to 70 in some areas away from the lake Sunday afternoon. Right now, though, this is one of our tower cams in the loop. It is up in the clouds, low clouds, temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s. Wind chill not a huge factor, but it is jacket weather, especially with those gray skies adding to the chill this morning. Plenty of clouds coming in from a disturbance up in Wisconsin. This is also sending a few sprinkles our way, approaching DuPage and Cook counties. This is that little 20% chance of rain that will continue in your forecast through the afternoon. Even though this storm looks a little menacing coming in from Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota, a large bulk of this rain will miss our area to the southwest. You can see that here on the future weather model. What it will do, though, on its backside, wrap around this cold wind from the lake, keeping lakeside temperatures almost 20 degrees cooler than normal for this time of the year. Interior areas away from the lake, 50s to near 60. That's not bad this afternoon, but this is what we mean when we say cooler lakeside. The southern end of Lake Michigan is only 39, so when the wind blows off of that cold water, you bet it is a chilly day today in the Loop and Waukegan, with some of us hardly eventually making it over 40 degrees. A ridge of high pressure, though, coming in this weekend. This is going to change everything. A ridge often leads to sunny skies, dry weather, and warmer temperatures. And this, as it pokes its way up from Texas Saturday and Sunday, is exactly what's in our forecast at last. In the meantime, today, it's gray and breezy, 45 degrees, even chillier near the lake. Tomorrow, cooler lakeside again, but everybody's temperatures are starting to improve. Saturday, sunny for the beginning of Passover with a high of 60, close to 70 with breezy, warm winds on Sunday. Another warm one with a slight chance of rain early next week. Then cool spring weather blows back in. Overall, pretty pleasant next Tuesday and Wednesday. Good morning to Chris Habermill joining us. It looks like, Chris, the fog is starting to clear off of our Chicago roads. Hopefully that's good news in your department.
That's good for drivers, David. Good morning, everybody. And also for Skywatch. We'll probably be able to get up and fly this afternoon. Couldn't do that this morning in that pea soup. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look and see how we are doing on the roads here. We've got a big, long, ugly-looking red line over here. What on earth is going on the westbound side of 8094? Solid from I-65 over to Klein. Got a stalled semi. 2 left lanes are blocked. They had some problems getting the trailer brakes released there. They've just been able to kind of move it to the shoulder, but the lanes are still blocked. Look at this. Kennedy is a parking lot either way because of the ongoing road work. Got a brand new crash on the inbound side of the Stevenson, jamming things up from Harlem into Pulaski, but they're working on getting that out of the left lane. Chris Habermill, CBS News, Chicago.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Well, still to come, the Chicago Palestine Film Festival is back for its 24th year. We have an organizer and filmmaker live in studio to talk about the meaning of this year's event.
Dana and Audrina, good morning to you from Oak Park Records. This has been around since 2004. These are the 2 bins they've got with exclusives for Record Store Day. And then we're also going to get into some of the Brit Pop collection because the owner here, that is his personal favorite, the Brit Pop. So they've got The Ride, Primal Scream, Slow Dive, and the Stone Roses, and some of the others too, the Verve too. That's one of the ones that I know. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we will be talking to the owner more about Record Store Day. We'll see you right after the break. And Oasis, of course.
It is day 3 in Gaza. At 6 a.m.
You're watching a clip from the documentary Kesara, which means to suffer loss in Arabic. This is one of 40 films being featured at the Chicago Palestine Film Festival, which begins this weekend at the Gene Siskel Film Center in Chicago.
And joining us now are Zana Badawi. Did I say that correctly?
You got it.
And I was worried about that. And Jamila Shillo, thank you so much for joining us and, talking live about this year's film festival, which I know last year sold out and this year almost, right?
Yeah, our opening night sold out so quickly, and we're seeing that there's like a huge demand for tickets right now. I actually run our social media account, and we're seeing like requests for different shows every single day. So we're looking at another sold out festival hopefully soon.
Wow, it's amazing to see just so much support around these filmmakers. And I know for you, Jamila, your documentary is going to be on Sunday night at the film festival, and it focuses on the humanitarian crisis in Gaza right now, and also the healthcare workers and their voice through this. Why did you want to make sure that this was included this year so people can hear more?
So I think it's very important to note that healthcare workers are not targets. And the healthcare workers that are currently going over to Gaza are experiencing such difficulties more than any other healthcare worker possibly since World War II. So they have to bring in their own food. At times they have to bring in their own water. They are crossing the dangerous borders. The hospitals that they're currently in are being bombed by the Israeli military. So there is no protection for them. There is no safety. And they are literally the best of us. They are people who leave their children. They are people who leave their homes. They are people who take time off work, who take time out of their schedule to go and help those who are the most in need. And yet we can't afford them protection. And that to me is insane. It's an injustice.
The ongoing war in Gaza, especially with the ceasefire crumbling right now, I mean, some would say it's non-existent right now. it makes a space like this, I would imagine, even more needed, a safe space like this for people to come together and not only view and discuss these films, but also be able to talk about, you know, their thoughts and emotions.
Yeah, I mean, like, this film festival isn't just about, you know, us showing a bunch of films created by Palestinians or allies, but it's also about creating like a safe space to kind of feel like you're in community with Palestinians and allies, and also it's a space to learn more. I think that, you know, there isn't a huge amount of opportunities for Palestinians to tell their stories and to give their perspectives, and this is what the whole film festival is about. So yeah, definitely, like, our whole goal is to, one, give people a space to learn, but to also feel in community with one another.
And I think it's important to note that, like, Palestinians are more than our oppression. We're more than what's happened to us, right? Like, I love that there's a space where you can showcase Palestinian dignity, and you can showcase Palestinian humor, and you can showcase Palestinian family life, and you can just showcase Palestinian humanity in a space created by other Palestinians.
So, and there is going to be, right, a large scope of films that you're going to see at the film festival. It's not just about the ongoing war and, like your documentary, the impact of that on healthcare workers, correct?
Yeah, the Palestine Film Festival is a place that Palestinians can tell their story, and our stories aren't just what's been thrust upon us, right? Like, it's really about life, and any human being can relate to that. It's more so than just the sadness that is currently happening. It's all encompassing.
I know that your documentary, which we just saw a clip from earlier, Kassar, will be shown Sunday night, correct?
Yes.
It, as you mentioned, shines a spotlight on the humanitarian crisis. Are you hoping, I know we talked about a safe space for Palestinians, the Palestinian community, but are you hoping, or do you know if you're drawing members from other communities, you know, so that there's a diverse audience also in attendance too, because I would say hopefully help educate, right?
Oh yeah, no, we're seeing every year, like, our audience is getting more diverse, like, generationally, and we are having people come in from all different walks of life. So when I first started going to this festival about 10, 15 years ago, I noticed it was primarily Palestinians going. Last year, I barely even saw, like, Palestinians. I think it was even more, it's like we're reaching a different audience, and I think that's so important because we know our story, you know, but we want the world to also hear our story. So it's more important to get people from different walks of life, who have different points of view and want to learn more about the Palestinian story.
And quickly, Jamila, what's it like to be part of a platform like this? This is the longest running Palestinian film festival in the entire world, right here in Chicago. What's it like to be part of it?
So I was born and raised in Chicago, and I have to say that I don't know how much more proud I could be. I'm so proud that it's the longest Palestinian film festival. I'm so proud to be a part of it, and I'm so proud of all the work that the community is doing to ensure that, A, that it's successful and that it grows.
All right, Dana and Jamila, thank you both for being here to share more about it. We do want you to know, if you're watching, that the Chicago Palestine Film Festival, starts this Saturday night. Although that show, as we mentioned, is sold out, there are some shows still available, and it runs until May 1st. To buy tickets and to learn more, head to PalestineFilmFest.com.
And next at 9:30, Chicago teachers one step closer to finalizing a new contract with the district. What's happening today to take steps towards making that deal official?
This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning and good to be with you. I'm Adrina Sinclair.
And I'm Dana Kozlov. It is 9:30. Thanks so much for staying with us. Ahead this half hour, Chicago teachers weighing in on their new contract proposal with CPS. We are live as the voting process begins for the entire rank and file.
And we are in for another cold and gloomy day, but some relief and some warmth is in sight, which is always good, especially as we inch closer and closer to the weekend. David, it's good to know we're going to get a little better.
Yeah, thank goodness. Something to look forward to as you look toward all those clouds you just showed us over the city. Low pressure, a separate storm from yesterday, is clipping by the area today. It's trying to send some rain and snow our way from Wisconsin, but most of this is failing in reaching it here, and that's kind of the trend today. Only a few sprinkles northwest of Chicago right now, and that's the forecast through the rest of the day. Sprinkles, cloudy skies, and cold weather near the lake. Lake water is 39, and winds coming off of that all day keep us at 40 42 in the Loop, while we'll be closer to 50 in Elgin, DuPage, and Naperville. Whiting only 42, a little bit warmer in Madison this afternoon, and Burns Harbor and Indiana Dunes close to 40 because of that cold lake breeze today. Officially in town, we're calling for the continuation of these gray skies with a 20% chance of light rain. Temperatures colder than normal in the 40s for one more day. The big weekend warm-up, though, begins tomorrow. We'll show you how warm it gets and when next in your forecast.
All right, David, thank you. Well, a new contract is now in the hands of Chicago public school teachers.
Voting is underway on a tentative contract that could mean big changes for Chicago public schools. Our Marissa Perlman is live at CTU headquarters this morning, where teachers are casting their ballots, likely as we speak. Good morning, Marissa.
That's right. Good morning to both of you. Voting starting to pick up here at CTU headquarters this morning, and some of those big changes you mentioned, that means pay raises for teachers, smaller class sizes as well, and this deal could actually be decided over the course of the next few days. Teachers we spoke with say they're looking forward to the end of this chapter.
I think a good negotiation is when no one's completely happy, so I think that's happening here.
$1 billion. That includes the largest salary increase CPS teachers have seen in about a decade. That starts with a 4% raise this year, followed up by a 5% raise every year for the next 3 years after that. Elementary teachers would get an extra 10 minutes of daily prep time. Nearly 100 librarians would be added to schools over the next 3 years. Again, teachers are asking for smaller class sizes and changes when it comes to how they're evaluated. The contract, again, more than a year in the making, but teachers say they are grateful. They continue to go to work every day during this negotiation process.
It's bittersweet, I think, in that, yes, it's good to be done with this. It's, you know, it's a chance for like a reset. At the other hand, like there's more that we need to fight for our students in the city and for the people in the city to make sure they're getting the services they need.
CTU members casting their ballots today and tomorrow, either at their school or here at CTU headquarters. We're told we could hear whether this deal passes by Saturday. For now, we're live outside of CTU headquarters. I'm Marissa Perlman, CBS News Chicago.
All right, Marissa, thank you. And right now we're tracking multiple bills in Illinois, some centered on students and schools. And first up, a bill that would ban kids from using their phones during class time. It would also require them to lock up those phones in class. The bill passed the Senate, and the House already has received it and referred it to a committee. And another bill has passed the Senate to put a standard across the state for school districts when it comes to threat assessments and emergency response. That includes rapid entry response plans, as well as how to notify parents and the community if there's a threat. The bill now heads to the House. And hair braiders could soon not need a license to do hair. There's a bill moving into the Senate that would get rid of the licensing requirements. Currently, hair braiders need to get one under the Barber Cosmetology, Aesthetics, Hair Braiding, and Nail Technology Act of 1985. That required them to have 300 hours of cosmetology school. The bill passed the Senate License Activities Committee on Wednesday. And the Senate will soon take up legislation to allow end-of-life options for terminally ill patients. The bill would allow mentally capable adults with 6 months or less to live to medically end their life. The patient's doctor and a consulting physician would have to determine, though, that the patient is mentally capable of making this decision. Under the bill, the patients would request the medication and take it themselves, so a doctor would not administer it. The bill passed the Senate Executive Committee yesterday.
Visas have been revoked for 3 University of Chicago students and 4 recent grads. U of C staff tell us they found out when checking the visa status of the students. U of C student newspaper, the Chicago Maroon, said on social media they'd reviewed an email that indicated the visa changes were, quote, not protest related, but because there was some sort of unlawful activity, which could be as innocuous as a speeding ticket. It leads to renewed concerns over the legality of these revocations, which are happening for hundreds of students at universities across the nation.
It's a basic principle of a rule of law system that when you change a very significant legal right or status, you tell someone what you're doing and you explain why you're doing it. As far as we can tell, there's very little of that happening.
The State Department said this week that they don't discuss individual visa changes because of privacy concerns.
There are now 6 confirmed measles cases in Indiana, and the health department confirms those cases are connected, bringing this outbreak closer to Illinois. 3 unvaccinated kids and 2 adults with unknown vaccination statuses are now part of a measles investigation that's happening near Fort Wayne in Allen County. The health department there says they are recovering those people infected. While there are no reported cases of measles in Illinois, the CDC says across the country there are now over 600 cases in 21 states. Doctors here are urging people to get vaccinated.
I think the biggest information really is what is your vaccination status and that of those in your community or school.
The Illinois Department of Public Health is now showing the vaccination rate at each school in the state on their website. That's what you're seeing here on their dashboard. School officials can use this information to make decisions on outbreak prevention and control.
Well, Riot Fest is staying at Douglas Park for at least the next 3 years. Organizers reached a deal with the Chicago Park District to keep the festival there through 2027 with an option to extend through 2029. Now, you might remember festival organizers switched the fest to the suburbs last year before switching it back to Chicago at the very last minute. Now, the deal includes a new revenue model that will fund about $1 million in improvements to the park after neighbors complained about damage in recent years. The Riot Fest lineup announcement, by the way, is in just a couple weeks, April 23rd. And Chicago's Harry Potter store opens today. We catch up with some excited fans who camped out for hours overnight to be among the first shoppers.
We are live at Oak Park Records, known for its classic vinyls and its green floor. How the shop is celebrating National Record Store Day this weekend.
And a few sprinkles under chilly conditions today, but we're looking toward a big improvement in a spring-like weekend. 60 with sunshine on Saturday, even warmer, but a bit windy for your Sunday afternoon plans. Coming up, we are tracking a little bit of rain moving into our area next in First Alert Weather.
Welcome back this morning. In our Jumpstart, we're celebrating National Record Store Day, which is Saturday.
That's right. We are highlighting 2 standout record shops in Oak Park. Jackie's now at Oak Park Records, which has been selling classic vinyls for 20 years. Good morning, Jackie.
Dana and Audrina, that's right. They opened back in 2004, but it was previously a record store as well before Alan Heffelfinger took over in 2004 and sort of transformed it into Oak Park Records, which has existed for more than 20 years now. So good morning to you, Alan.
Good morning.
Okay, let's talk first about this green floor. What makes it so iconic?
Just that I guess no other record store has a wooden green floor, but my customers do love it.
Yes, yes.
And we had a little bit of our floor replaced, and the customers made sure that we didn't paint the entire floor green. We just painted the new part and left the rest of the boards worn like they are.
Got it, got it. And this was something that existed in the previous record store,
yes,
right?
exactly. When I first started shopping here in 1991, the green floor was here.
Okay, so. And it's still here today. I love that. I love that history. Let's talk about some of the rare finds that you would find. Some of them are sort of put in the middle or in the front of the boxes here. Rare and maybe more expensive, but something that collectors would come in and be really excited about.
Yeah, rare, limited. You know, it definitely is an attraction to a more serious collector, a lot of times because of the price. Stuff that's behind the counter tends to have a higher price, so we keep it there for, you know, safety, and also because you don't want a lot of people touching and damaging something that has that high of a value.
Gotcha. And some of these are actually the first print, or not first print, but what's the
first pressings? Yeah,
first pressings.
Like we have like the Stevie Ray Vaughan there is an original first pressing that's still sealed.
Oh my God!
So you know, something like that will really up the value of a record compared to one from the same time period that's open.
Got it. I love it. We talked a little bit about your Britpop collection.
Yes.
Let's go through some of it, because this is one of the genres of music that you in particular get really excited about.
Absolutely.
Obviously,
love.
Oasis
Yes.
having sort of a resurgence because of their world tour, but tell me about some of the other bands that you get excited about.
Primal Scream, I've just always been a fan of them.
Yes.
They're a group that every album is completely different than what the one was before, so you just love the band, whatever type of music they're doing. Ride was always a favorite band of mine. Never got to see them when they were originally together. They reformed about 10 years ago, and they've been consistently touring and putting out records now. What's another one? Stone Roses.
Yes.
There's also Supergrass, which Supergrass are coming back to town after the Oasis concert, so I'm excited to go see Supergrass later this summer.
Okay, I love it. We do have to mention, too, Mauricio, our director, said that the Stone Roses' first ever American concert was in Tinley Park, so a little local history there, which is really cool. Why should people come see you guys on Saturday for Record Store Day?
We are going to have wonderful records, used records, all throughout the store. 20% off of CDs, used vinyl, 10% off of our new product. We'll just have a lot of product for everybody.
Yes, yes. I will say, yeah, I do think, I feel like there is just a little bit of every genre of music, which is what you want in a record store, because you want everybody to come in here and find something maybe nostalgic but also new as well.
Exactly.
Alan, thank you so much for your time this morning. I have to
you.
say, I did a little shopping in here too. I just picked up a Leon Bridges album because I love Leon Bridges. So Dana and Audrina, I'm shopping, supporting local as well. Back to you.
Oh, Leon Bridges has that voice. It'll get you.
Thanks, Jackie. You know what? My husband, he still has all his vinyl, by the way. And he, a few months ago, started a vinyl club with a bunch of his friends. And so every couple of months they get together, they bring their favorite vinyl, they play a song, they discuss the song, they maybe have a beer or two, I don't know. And then they go on.
That's
so
awesome.
vinyl whole thing, man.
That sounds like a great idea. Yes, yes. Well, they can come here to Oak Park Records and pick up some new albums to put into the collection.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I will let them know. Thanks so much, Jackie.
Speaking of going back, didn't you say, were you the one that's, I heard saying today you wanted to have a VCR again?
Well, yeah, we were talking about bringing back.
Remember?
I meant to circle back to that as well.
By the way, I have a VCR, and still, we'll just leave it at that. My best friend is like, you are so weird. But
Do you like watching it rewind and waiting for an hour?
It's just part of my life, David. So to me, nothing's changed. I mean, I've added equipment, but I still have a VCR, and I sometimes still pop in my old VHS workouts.
Oh,
yeah, I do.
Wow.
Like the 5-minute abs or something?
I know,
right? Or maybe a little Al McPherson from 1994.
From the person who says she needs to get rid of some stuff. Maybe we need to add that to the list, Dana.
Whatever's your thing.
Purge. That's right. Right. We all march to our, the beat of our own drum.
Whatever
we do.
David.
Yes.
All right. Good news is we got some big windows here in our studio, and there's a little bit of sun.
Yeah, we'll see a couple breaks today. I think this will be like one of the lucky moments through the day overall.
We're
still fighting right. We'll take what we can get, but this weekend it'll change. We have some fog and mist to fight our way through this morning, but tomorrow, bright conditions, mild temperatures in the 50s, and the warm-up continues this weekend, 60 to even close to 70 by Sunday afternoon. In the meantime, we've got another dreary and cold April day. Clouds are streaming in from a disturbance to our northwest, some light to moderate rain now just north of Chicago and moving into Cook County over the next hour. This is part of another disturbance separate from the one we dealt with yesterday. This one overall is clipping us to the southwest, but as you can see on the future weather model here, clouds hold tight all day, and a few of these rain showers will be streaming in, especially from McHenry and Lake counties into Cook and DuPage from now through lunchtime. Overall, though, it's not a washout at all. I think by the evening commute, it's much drier than yesterday evening was, but notice we have these cold lake breezes and persistent clouds. This is going to make temperatures 10 to 15 degrees colder than what you would expect this time of the year. What does that mean? Only 40s today in Chicago and close to the 40-degree mark itself along the Cook and Lake County lake front. That cold breeze is coming off of 39-degree Lake Michigan water, so the farther away you get from that cold lake, the warmer it is today. 50s from Morris into LaSalle County. If we all want to warm up, let's just wait a couple more days. Not only does the sun come out starting tomorrow, but we are tracking a big ridge of high pressure leading to 90s in Texas. This noses its way into our area this weekend, leading to warmer temperatures and dry weather. Finally, some really excellent weather to get outside with the family if you can. So today, 45 degrees, gray and breezy, even chillier by the lakeside with that northeast wind coming off of Lake Michigan. Tonight, skies clear out gradually with chilly temperatures in the mid-30s. After today, it will still be cooler with a lake breeze in Chicago Friday and Saturday, but look at the temperatures warming gradually. The beginning of Passover, a beautiful day at 60, close to 70 on Sunday and Monday, even with a slight chance of rain early next week. Then a little cooler air blows in, but nothing we can't handle in April. 50s next Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's welcome back Chris Habermill watching the last of our rush hour. Chris, good morning to you. What are the slowdown spots that are most problematic now?
Well, in northwest Indiana, David, we've had a problem where a semi stalled out, then there was a fuel spill or some sort of fluid, perhaps hydraulic fluid or something, or maybe oil. But something was on the pavement that shouldn't be there, and they needed to clean that up. But the good news is there's a light at the end of the tunnel because they have just reopened all lanes. So off to the maps we go, and you can see here the last vestiges of that delay. That's where the incident was. We're still backed up from before I-65 through Klein Avenue now as everybody goes by. So keep that in mind. Closer in, core expressways are nice and busy. We've got some the ongoing road work on the Kennedy. We've got some pop-up outbound patching work on the Stevenson, really kind of backing everybody up from Damon out through Pulaski. And speaking of road work, long-term road work is up on 53 between Rand and Kirchhoff. That's either direction. Lanes have been repositioned. Everything's shifted to the left, so the left shoulder is now the left lane. The ramps have been shortened up. You're getting on and off through barricades, so that's an extra little complicating factor going through there. And as a result, we still have a lingering delay northbound from before Kirchhoff up through about Northwest Highway. Have a great day. Drive safe. Let's be nice to each other. Dana and Audrina, back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you. Not sure if Chris is a Harry Potter fan, but if you are one, you have definitely been waiting on pins and needles for the new Harry Potter shop to open.
Well, the day is finally here, and some people traveled a long way for the moment. The store is moving into the retail space below the Omni Hotel on Michigan Avenue. The store will have different themed areas, exclusive Chicago-themed merchandise, and a butterbeer bar, of course. You'll even be able to get fun things like a personalized Hogwarts robe, wand, or acceptance letter. We caught up with one fan who drove 12 hours just to be here this morning.
I've been a Harry Potter fan for a very long time. I'm also a Potter collector, so just getting out here, being here for the opening day festivities, and especially a big Mina Lima fan, which is the illustrators. They make an opening day print that you can get, so really excited about that.
This is the second Harry Potter store in the country. The other one is in New York.
I have a friend who's a huge Harry Potter fan, and she's already written me saying, when I come back to Chicago, she's from here, she goes, I know where we're going.
Wow.
And I said, okay,
all
noted,
right.
got it.
We'll make it happen.
Well, still to come, breaking overnight, the U.S. House voting on a Senate budget plan, that breaking actually now, hours after it was delayed.
Breaking right now, the House voting on a Senate budget plan. Lawmakers are voting now after a vote was initially delayed last night due to division within the Republican Party. Several House Republicans said they would vote against the Senate's measure, saying there aren't enough spending cuts in it. The Senate version has $4 billion in cuts, while the House version had nearly $1.5 trillion in cuts. You can see the totals there on your screen as to where the vote stands right now. And now to the stories we're keeping an eye on right here at home.
Chicago police are investigating the death of an off-duty officer. That death occurring at the 18th District Right-Off Division in Larrabee on the near north side. A police source telling CBS Chicago it appears the officer died by suicide, but this investigation is still underway and in the very early stages right now. We do want to mention that the 18th District is closed today, so any emergency calls will be directed to other districts.
The detention hearing for a man shot by Chicago police inside a River North hotel has been postponed. A judge tells us the suspect, Damon Williams, is still in the hospital. Police say Williams was walking around the Courtyard Marriott with a knife on Monday. They say officers opened fire when he turned towards them with that knife. Williams was shot and taken to the hospital in critical condition.
Voting begins today, happening now on the new contract for Chicago teachers. Now, this is a tentative deal right now, of course, including pay raises, smaller class sizes, and also changes in how teachers are evaluated. Chicago Teachers Union members can vote through Friday at schools or at union headquarters.
Well, one more look at the radar here before we let you go into a dreary Thursday. We have a few sprinkles coming from McHenry and Lake counties into Chicago. These are losing a bit of their oomph as they arrive, but don't be surprised if you see a few raindrops in Chicago through the lunch hour. Thank you guys for letting me come hang out with you guys this morning.
Thanks for being here with us.
Great to have you.
I'll see you again tomorrow.
Always nice to have some appearances here and there.
And thank you for joining us here on the News at 9. Your local news continues right here on the stream.
Yeah, we always appreciate you being with us throughout the morning, and we'll see you tomorrow morning as well. Have a great one.